So in this section, we're learning how to solve the inequality. So please make sure that you understand what an inequality is, what the difference between an equation and an inequality is. Go through all the prerequisite information available to get some information about how to solve an inequality. Now, in your list of guidelines to solve a polynomial inequality, in this reading assignment, you must have written like 5 steps. The first step in that is to move all terms to one side. So step number 1 would have been move all terms to one side, and that will give me 12x minus x cubed minus x squared is greater than or equal to 0. And the second step would be to factor the polynomial. Factor the polynomial. Now, before I do this factoring, I'm going to make a little adjustment. I'm going to rewrite this as negative x cubed minus x squared plus 12x is greater than or equal to 0. And now I'm going to make like a factor out a negative 1 and make my leading coefficient positive. That is going to be negative 1x cubed plus x squared minus 12x is greater than or equal to 0. Now if I divide both sides by a negative 1, my inequality will switch signs, less than or equal to 0. So this is equivalent to saying the other way around. Like say if I say 12x is greater than x cubed plus x squared, from here I could have also written x cubed plus x squared is less than or equal to 12x. So if I move it to the left hand side, x cubed plus x squared minus 12x is less than or equal to 0. So this is also another way to come to the same step that I wrote here. Okay. Now here I need to factor the polynomial. So to factor the polynomial, I'm going to pull out an x. So it's x squared plus x minus 12 less than or equal to 0. Again, keep going, x times. If I factor this x squared plus x minus 12, I would be x plus 4 and x minus 3. Again, review factoring if you're not sure of it. It's a prerequisite for this class, so you need to know how to do factoring. 4 times negative 3 is negative 12, 4 minus 3 is 1. So this is the factored part of the polynomial, and that was step 2. And step number 3 says find the intervals. So what that means is make a table. Like say for example here I can say for this quantity it should be true, either x should be equal to 0 or x equals negative 4 or x is equal to 3. So this is the points where I have to find the intervals, which means I can say from negative infinity to negative 4, from negative 4 to 0, and from 0 to 3 and 3 to infinity. That's what they mean by finding the intervals. So if I know these as zeros are called the x-intercepts. So with the help of that, in step number 4, I'm going to make a diagram. Make a diagram means taking your number line. So let me draw the number line here. And in this number line, divide the number line at wherever you have the x-intercepts. So x equals 0 is one place. I'm going to have an x-intercept. Let me use another color. So x equals 0 is going to be a place I'll have my x-intercept. X equals negative 4 is going to be another one. And x equals 3 would be the one. Now make sure you place the numbers on the appropriate place, which means 0 will be in the middle and any negative numbers will be on the left hand side of the 0 and positive numbers will be on the right hand side. So when they say find the intervals, the first interval is from all the way from negative infinity to negative 4. That's the first interval. So the second interval is from negative 4 to 0. The third interval is from 0 to 3. And the fourth interval is from 3 to infinity. When I say interval, I mean all the numbers from negative infinity to negative 4 or anything in that interval. All the numbers are included if I use this parentheses. Okay, and that's called writing in something with an interval notation. Okay, so after this, then the last step of doing this problem is like solving. Now, how do we solve this is pick a test point. Like pick a point from each interval. So let me pick a point from the first interval, interval negative infinity to negative 4. I'm just going to pick one point. So let me call negative 5. This negative 5 is called the test point. Now, if I take this negative 5 and plug it back into my original equation, which is 12 times negative 5 greater than or equal to negative 5 the whole cubed plus negative 5 the whole squared. If I get a true statement, then I say that that interval is in the solution piece. So let me do this here. 12 times negative 5 is negative 60. So if this negative 60 is greater than or equal to whatever I find on my right hand side, which would be negative 5 the whole cubed plus negative 5 the whole squared, which would be positive 25, right? Negative 100. Okay, so now the question is, which one is bigger? Is negative 60 is greater than or equal to negative 100, or negative 60 is less than or equal to 100? And we always know that, right? And the negative the number goes, the bigger the number, the smaller it is. So technically negative 6 is greater than. So this is a true statement. Now what is that telling me? That this piece is going to be in my answer. So the one I highlighted in blue is this interval is going to be in my answer. Now repeat the same for the other sections. So for the other one, like say here, I will pick a test point of negative 1. So that's my test point. Again, I'm going to plug it in my equation. 12 times negative 1 greater than or equal to negative 1 the whole cubed plus negative 1 the whole squared. So 12 times negative 1 is negative 12 greater than or equal to negative 1 the whole cubed would be negative 1, and this would be 1. So negative 12 is greater than or equal to 0. So this is false. So that piece is not going to be in my answer. So any false piece you do not include in the answer. So that from the negative 4 to 0 is not going to be in the answer. Repeat the same for the next interval. So here the test point I'm going to pick is 1. You can pick any number, okay? So test point is 1 here. If I go 12 times negative 1, which is 12, greater than or equal to 1 cubed is 1, 1 plus 1, which is 2. 12 is greater than or equal to 2. This is a true statement, which is telling me that this piece, starting from that number, ending to this number, is in my answer. Repeat the same for the third. Here my test point I'm picking is 4. So 12 times 4 greater than or equal to 4 cubed plus 4 squared. So if I use that here, 12 times 4 is 48. Greater than or equal to 4 cubed is 4 times 4 times 4, right? 64 plus 4 squared is 16, right? That'll give us 80. So 48 is greater than or equal to 80 is not true, so that's not in my answer either. So the answer to this problem is, so if you're asked to write the answer to this problem, the answer is all the numbers from negative infinity to negative 4, including negative 4. And why I include? Because the question has a greater than or equal to sign. Union, and all the numbers from 0 including 0 to 3, including 3. So this will be the answer for this question.